Thanks for joining me in the craft room. This is Kat at inkingpaperwithkat.com. Today's project is this small gift box. It is wrapped in a belly band that has a leaf cut out of the center with another leaf that was cut with a thinlet nestled inside. And the belly band slides off and you have your box that has Ghirardelli chocolates on the inside. You need a piece of cardstock that is 6 by 8.5. This is crushed curry. You need a piece of DSP that is 2.5 by 9. This is painted autumn. You need a scrap of coordinating cardstock. This is fresh fig. I really like fresh fig. This is not one of the coordinating colors for this DSP, but I just think it works really well with this paper. Crushed curry would be another option that would be really gorgeous. You need a scrap of Very Vanilla for stamping your greeting, and you need a piece of clear acetate that's 2 3/8 by 2 3/8. We're also going to be using fresh fig ink, fresh fig ribbon. The stamp set that we are using is Colorful Seasons, and the thinlets are Seasonal Layers, and these are both in the annual catalog and you can get them as a bundle. So let's get started on this project. You need your Simply scoreboard. You are going to put the long side at the top, and you are going to score at 1.5, 4, 5.5, and 8. Rotate your paper 90 degrees so the short side is at the top, and score at 1.5 and try not to jump. 4 and 5.5. Alright, let's fold and burnish these score lines. Where I'm at in Southern California, it is still quite warm, but I am ready for fall and hoping it comes quickly. So, getting fall projects done so we can get started soon on Halloween. Oops, I missed one over here. Alright, let's do some cutting. If you put this with the long side at the top, there is one small flap. That is the top of your box. This is the bottom of your box. There's one small rectangle here that you're going to remove. And I do a slight angle cut there. And then we are going to cut up each of these score lines to the first horizontal score line. And take a wedge out of the small tabs. Alright, and I have a template so I can show you this next part. So you can see that there is one section that we need to remove completely. So let's turn it so that this narrow fold is on the bottom, and we are going to cut up each of the score lines. This small tab we're going to remove completely. Alright, this now becomes the seam of our box. This tab, we want to remove that narrow rectangle. This one we want to remove this completely, and this is the front of our box. So I just fold those sections back so that I don't accidentally cut them off. And following the score line, we remove that. And then this one we also need to take off. Now, on these little tabs, you want to take the smallest of slivers off, just so that they lay in your box nicely. But they are what will keep your lid from collapsing in when you close your box. So you don't want to remove them completely. Okay, now we're going to take a corner rounder and we want to round these sections. Now Stampin' Up! No longer has a corner rounder. The envelope punch board does have a corner rounder on it, and you can use that, or if you've purchased this corner rounder in the past, you still have it, and you can use it. Alright, there's our box cut. So now let's put it together. We are going to use tear and tape. I like to use a strong adhesive when I'm doing boxes so that they don't fall apart. We're just going to run that as close to the fold line as we can. And then we need to flip it over and run some on the tab that is on the front of our box. Now if you were putting something really heavy in there, you might want to put some additional tape on the bottom of your box. Alright, I'm just going to use a paper piercer to grab this tape off. This is a symmetrical box, so you can just fold it over and it will adhere. Fold your sides in. And then pull this adhesive backing off. Now you do want to make sure that your box is squared up when you close it. And there you go. The one other thing I like to do on boxes, and you certainly don't have to do this, is I just take a little circle punch and go in and put in a thumb hole. That just helps to grab the box lid when you're trying to open it. Alright, let's work on that belly band. You're going to take your piece of DSP, and again this is 2.5 by 9, and lay it on the front of your box. Make sure it's nice and straight, and just start folding it around. Give it a little bit of a pinch. It doesn't have to be much. You're just finding out where those folds are. Now you could measure, and you could use your Simply scoreboard and score these lines, but it's really not necessary. Okay, once you have those all pinched down, all you're going to do is make sure that you're lined up on your sides, and then you can give it a good crease. And you can use your foam folder if you want. You certainly don't need to. Find your next one, repeat that process, and keep going until you have all of those folds put in. And then if we put our box in, we'll see that we've got a nice fit, but not so tight that you can't slide it on and off. Alright, before we attach the ends though, we need to make this cutout. And we also need to create that thinlet, that die shape. So we are using the filigreed leaf that is from the thinlet set, and we are going to get our Big Shot out. Let me do this without making a ton of noise. I'm going to zoom you out a little bit so you can see. Your magnetic plate goes down first, a cutting pad. You are going to cut your leaf out on the front of your belly band. So if you fold your belly band up, You don't want the side with the seam. You want this front piece. So if you lay this in and you position your thinlet the way you want it to go, and I want mine to look like it's a falling leaf. And you're going to put it between those fold lines. Put your other plate on, roll it through, and you have your leaf shape cut. Now we're going to take a small piece of cardstock. We're going to put our leaf on again, top plate on. On these, very detailed, I always run it through twice. I want to make sure that I get a good cut. And we will pull our leaf out, set our die aside. Let's move our big shot to the side. So what you're going to do is this is actually going to fit right back in to that hole. But obviously there's nothing to hold on to it. It's just fit in there. That's why we're going to use the acetate. And we're going to turn this on the back, and we want to lay this acetate in. Now you can use a couple of glue dots, you can use a little bit of Tombow. You're not going to see the adhesive, so I just take a tiny bit of Tombow, run it down, and lay that in. Now, to put our leaf in, we are also going to use just a touch of Tombow. Just some little dots here and there to keep this adhered to that acetate so that we can create this window. The stem is the piece that's most likely to pop out, so I would put Tombow all over that stem. But again, you don't need a lot, you just need a little. Alright, we're going to take it, and I start by fitting that stem back in and just inlaying it. And that's really what it is, it's a piece of inlay. Make sure you close your Tombow so it doesn't dry up. And there we have it. So then we take our box and we lay it on. And doesn't that look pretty with that yellow coming through the back? Really looks like a fall leaf. And then we're just going to take some fast fuse, put it on the end of our belly band. Make sure that you have lined everything up. And there you have it. Now all we have to do is add just a little bit more. So we are going to take our fresh fake ribbon, and this is the finely woven ribbon. It's a really pretty ribbon. Has a nice feel to it. And we are just going to tie a bow. I like the way that this ribbon ties. It actually ties quite nicely. And I want this ribbon to go in the corner, so I don't want this bow to be too large. And of course you can fiddle with this as much as you need to. For the purpose of the video, I'm not going to fiddle with it a ton. and trim your ends. And the easiest way to adhere this, I find, is just with a glue dot on the back. You might want to put two. And I want it actually that way. That bow could use some more work, but you get the idea. Now we're just going to take our scrap of Very Vanilla. We're using the stamp set Colorful Seasons, and we're using Thinking of You with some fresh fake ink. I'm going to use the Everyday Label punch. Now this punch is much too large for this grading, for what I want, but I'm finding this punch to actually be quite versatile. If you line your grading up and make it straight with the two curved edges, and I'm going to actually put mine over to the side. You can then take a pair of scissors and line up, I don't know, can you see these two corners right here? Just line those up to the other end, cut straight across. And now you have a little greeting tag that has a nice curved end. And I'm going to, on this one, put it right there. So I just need a glue dot. And we're just going to slip it in so the greeting still shows. And tilt it any way you want. And there you have it. A nice fall gift box that has an inlaid, beautiful fall leaf. I hope you enjoyed the project and you come back to visit. Thank you.